Good morning, Storytime friends. It's Hannah at the Barkman branch again today. And, do you hear a bunch of buzzing? I hear buzzing. It sounds like bzzz, like a bunch of bees. I wonder where it could. What's that? Oh, you're right. You're right, Storytime friends. Look at all these bees behind me. That's where the buzzing sound is coming from. If you can listen really close, I bet you can hear it. Bzzz. Do you hear all my bee friends behind me? I'm so glad you all joined us today, busy bees, because we are reading about all of you. That's right. We are going to learn about our wonderful insect friends, the bees, today. Bees are so wonderful. I like their color for one thing. Black and yellow, it's so beautiful, isn't it? And bees do really, really important things for us. Without bees, we wouldn't have a lot of things. You all are very hard workers. All right, Storytime friends. Well, if you're feeling buzzy like a bee and you need to get some energy out, let's stand up and sing our Storytime song before we start reading about bees, shall we? All right, everyone stand up, get that bee energy ready, and let's get it out. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. Or your little wings. Clap your wings if you have wings. If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for bees, if you're ready for a story about bees, twirl around. If you're ready for a story about bees, twirl around. If you're ready for a story about bees, if you're ready for a story about bees, if you're ready for a story about bees, turn around. Buzz around like bees do. Nice buzzing. All right, my busy bees, if you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, take a seat. All right, nice job, Storytime friends. Everyone get settled in. I am so excited to read to you all today about bees. They are so cool. All right, so let's start with our first story. This one is called The Honeybee, and this is by Kirsten Hall and Isabella Arsenault. All right, The Honeybee. This is read with permission from Simon & Schuster, and look at all of those beautiful flowers. Let's see what we can learn about the honeybee. A field, a tree, climate, and sea. For miles all around you grow wild and free flowers. Oh my goodness, look at all those beautiful flowers. But then, shh, what's that? Do you hear it? Do you hear it? You're near it. It's closer. It's coming. It's buzzing. It's humming. What is it, Storytime friends? A bee! Oh my goodness, look at that bee. What does a bee have? What kind of things can you see on this bee? I see his red and, yellow and black, not red, yellow and black stripes. What else do you see on a bee? Yeah, he has a pointy nose. He has wings. And actually in our next story, we'll see a bee that looks a little bit more realistic, but this little bee has this pointy nose, doesn't he? And a big old smile. A bee. 4 tiny wings, they buzz and they sing. They're clapping and flapping, the busy bees lapping. Lap, lap, lap. Searching, perching, tap, tap, tap. What is the bee searching for, I wonder? This one. What is this one? What did the bee choose, Storytime friends? That's right, a flower. This is the flower the bee has chosen. This is the flower the pollen grows in. This is the flower, its color so bright, its sweet blooming scent calls the bee from its flight. Such a long trip, it's time for a sip. Sugary, watery. What comes from a flower for bees? What do they drink? Nectar, that's right. There now, it drills now. The bee sips and spills now. Here now, it swills now. It sits oh so still now. There now, it fills now. It's back to the hill now. More pollen, more nectar. It's mealtime, buzz, buzz. Do you see the bee here? After they drink all that pollen, they also carry it. After they drink the nectar, they carry the pollen. So there's drinking the nectar, getting pollen all over its little body, and carrying that pollen around on its legs. And going to find some more nectar to drink. Bzz, bzz, a crowd, swarming and teeming and loud, flapping, flying, landing, prying. All of this nectar, it's ours, it's ours. They work on the flowers for hours and hours until, what do you think happens after all those bees drink all that nectar from the flowers? Maybe they get sleepy? Little bees with heavy sacks, lifting, shifting, turning back. Zoom, they race. Zoom, they chase. Zoom, they zoom and pick up the pace. And then, zoom, they see it up ahead. What do they see? That's right, Storytime friends. Our hive, our hiding place. Watch them arrive. Watch how their hive buzzes alive. Bzzz. Have you ever seen a hive like this, Storytime friends? It's yellow and it has lots of holes in it for the bees to go in. Where are the flowers you found today? Dance for us, foragers. Show us the way. A dance begins. Waggle, wiggle. The dance is lovely. Tremble, jiggle. The dance goes straight now, in a line. A figure 8 is the final sign. You see the figure 8 here? Oh, now we know where to go. Thanks for the secrets, and thanks for the show. New foragers leave on a searching mission, while house bees march forward with hungry ambition. Choo choo, that's what we do. We suck out the nectar, we suck it straight through. Look at all that nectar. They're chewing it. Choo choo, we're changing its makeup. We're giving the nectar a chemical shakeup. Choo choo, we make it like glue. Choo choo choo, at last we're finally through. But there's more to do at home. Like fill the honeycomb. They jam its cells with nectar plaster, then rev up their engines and beat their wings faster. Whoosh, they're strong despite their size. Whoosh, the nectar cools and dries. It's getting thicker now, wings move quicker now. Fan, fast, pump, blast. We did it, we did it. Okay, so let's think about that story time, friends. So they got the nectar from their bodies, they chew, 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 they make it like glue, and then they put it in these honeycombs. They cool it off with their wings until it's nice and cool and not hot anymore. And what do the bees make? They make something that we eat. What is that? That's right. It's honey, at last. That is so much work to make honey, isn't it? And now, to keep it safe, tiny honey cells are capped. Liquid gold is sealed and trapped. And only when it's needed most, a hungry day, will these walls be tapped. Outside the hive come shorter days, cooler winds and softer rays, fewer eggs to birth and raise. With the queen less busy, the hive's less busy, and bees amass all soft and fuzzy. Do you see the queen bee? There she is. Come now, rest, join our nest. Huddle and cuddle, the winter's our test. And now I can see, there's the hive. And during winter, they all huddle together and hibernate to stay warm, don't they? So even though it's cold outside, they are all fuzzy and cuddled together for the night, for the winter. Pop, a bud. Drip, some mud. Creatures stir in the melting snow, and inside the hive, the bees, they know. What season is this now, Storytime friends? That's right, it turned to springtime, and that's the season we're in now, isn't it? It's springtime. Life anew. One little bee in a tree knows what to do. Watch it zoom. A field, a tree, climb it and see. From a faraway hive flew this hard-working honeybee. There he is. And then it starts all over. Flew this hard-working honeybee. So then in the spring, the cycle starts all over anew, doesn't it? All right, Storytime friends. Well, that was a really informative book, wasn't it? I learned so much. The honeybee does so much work. Let's think. So the honeybee has to fly really far away from the hive as soon as it hits spring. And then what else? They have to gather all that pollen and drink all that nectar. And then what do they do with it? After they drink the nectar, they have pollen. That's right, they carry it back to the hive. That's right, Storytime friends. And in the hive, they give it to the worker bees, and the worker bees turn it into honey. And that's really important because when it's wintry and it's cold, if the bees get really hungry in their hive, they can eat the honey. And we also love to eat honey, don't we? It's so delicious. Well, I have another little thing we could do with bees. As you can see, I am surrounded by bees, and I was thinking we could probably count all the bees behind me, and then we could also do a little counting song with some other bees I have. So I have these kind of bees that are like the ones we just saw, where they have a little smile, and then I also have these kind of bees, which are like the ones we're going to see in our next book, that look a little bit more realistic. So they don't have little faces on them, but they're more realistic to the insect that we see in everyday life. So let's start by counting all the smiling bees around me. How many do you see? There's a lot of them, aren't there? All right, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that all of them? You're right, Storytime friends, 9. These little guys are sneaky, aren't they, way up there? So there are 9 smiling bees behind me. Did you all like the last bee story we read? That's cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it, little friend bees. Okay, let's do a counting song together with these kind of bees. One little bee flew and flew. I bet they're flying from the hive. He met a friend, and that made how many bees? 2. 2 little bees, busy as can be. Along came another, and that made 3. 3 little bees wanted one more, found that one soon, and that made 4. 4 little bees going back to the hive spied their little sister, and that, oh no, come back, little bee. And their little sister made how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That made 5. 5 little bees working every hour. Busy, busy bees. Go buzz away and find a flower. Now story time, friends. We have 5 bees here, and we have 9 bees behind me. That's a lot of bees, isn't it? Should we count them all together? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you're counting with me, Storytime friends. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, sneaky guy, 12, 13, 14. Did I get this guy? Yes. So how many do we have? We have 9 plus 5 is 14. That's right, Storytime friends. We have 14 bees behind us. That is so many, isn't it? But you know what? That is not as many bees that are in one hive. There are many, many, many more bees than just 14 in one hive. There are hundreds of bees in just one little hive. And all of those bees have a special job. So some of them go out like these bees, and they go and they find flowers and drink the nectar. And some of them are worker bees, like our friends here, where they chew the nectar and make honey. And then there's other bees that do all kinds of things. There's the queen bee, and she's the one that has the bee eggs and takes care of them and makes lots of little cute baby bees. And there's also worker bees, and there's also protector bees that make sure that the hive stays safe. And it's really important that everyone does their job. Well, thank you so much for counting all those bees with me. That's a lot of bees, but I'm really excited to have 14 bees with us now because they can listen to all of us read the next book called Bee Dance. And this is by Rick Kristowski. And thank you to Macmillan for letting us read this one. So you can see there's lots of different kinds of ways that we draw bees, right? This little bee is a happy little guy from our last book, The Honeybee, with a pointy nose and a smile. And these little guys have a smile too. But these and these are more what bees look like in everyday life. So this is what it would look like if you could see a bee and kind of zoom in on it. You could see their antenna, and you could see their eyes, and you could see their fuzz too. So let's read Bee Dance. Do you remember the dance that was referenced in our last book, The Honeybee, with the figure 8? That's what this book is going to be about in more depth. When sunlight warms your honeybee wings, off you go on flower patrol. Follow a sweet scent floating on air to find a honeybee gold mine. I see other insects on this page too. What other insects besides the honeybee do you see? I see a ladybug up here. That's right, Storytime friends, and a caterpillar on the leaf. Sorry, not a caterpillar, a grasshopper. But there might be a caterpillar on the leaf too. So we have a ladybug, a bee, and a grasshopper. Sip sugary nectar with your bendy straw tongue. Yum. Race home. Zoom, zoom. Just like in the last book, there they go racing home. Climb the beeswax comb. Excitement buzzes all around. The other bees know that you have news. What news could this bee have? That's right. News about where to find the nectar. Do the waggle dance, honeybee. Make a figure 8. Twirl in a circle. Wag your body up the middle run. Then twirl around the other side. Bzz, bzz, bzz. There's the bee dance. And what does the bee dance do, Storytime friends? Why do bees dance for the other bees? To communicate where the nectar is, that right? That's right. Directions, giving them directions to the flowers. Waggle faster, honeybee. Buzz louder. Your dance points the way to the prairie. How long you waggle your body tells the others how far to go. See the bee waggling his body? Now the bees know just where to fly. Soon they see flowers reaching toward the sky. I bet there's a lot of nectar in all those beautiful flowers. What do you think? Think they're gonna find nectar there? I bet so. Go to work, forager bees. Collect nectar to make honey. Stuff pollen into baskets on your hind legs. There we can see it again. See all of the pollen on their back legs? Stay out late. Carry your heavy prize back to the hive. The last glow of sunset lights the way home. Oh my goodness. Look at all that pollen they're carrying back. I bet that gets heavy. Unload your cargo and store it in the combs, then settle in for the night. When you wake up, warm your honeybee wings in the morning sun and dance the prairie jitterbug once again. That sounds like so much fun to do a bee dance. And the longer they waggle their body, what does that tell the other bees? How far they have to go to the flowers. That's right. I wanted to show you one more thing in these books, Storytime friends. And that is that some bees live in hives that they make naturally. So like the first one in our book, the Honeybee, that's a hive that's made naturally, that's hanging from a tree. And then our friends in the Bee Dance book, they come from a little bit different looking home. Do you remember what it looks like? It looks like this. And this is a way that people keep bees. So it's not a natural hive that bees make. This is something that humans make, and they make it all perfect so that bees can make their honeycomb inside of the box. So you might see some of these around. Lots of people like to have bees because they have delicious honey and they're really, really good to help make sure that all of our flowers and everything else get pollinated. And the reason for that is, remember all of that pollen they carry on their legs? That pollen kind of drops off as they're flying, and that makes sure that lots of flowers and vegetables and fruits and all the yummy things we eat grow up from the ground. So you might see some of those. And I hope you learned some stuff about bees today because I love them. They are so cool, and it's really interesting to learn about how they make honey. All right, Storytime friends, I have one more bee friend, if you can believe it. So we are going to go from 14 to 15 bees, and this is our craft for this week. So you can make a yarn wrapped honeybee. You wrap all of their black and yellow yarn, and then you can make their wings out of music paper and buzz it around. So if you want to make this storytime craft this week, just ask us for the bee craft, and then you can make one of these for yourself, okay? All right. Thank you so much for reading with me today, Storytime friends. And if you get a chance, keep an eye out around where you live and see if you can see any of those big boxes that are made by humans for bees to have honeycombs in. Okay, see if any of your neighbors or anyone in your family keeps bees, and if so, maybe you can take a look at them. All right, have a wonderful week. Make sure to buzz like a bee and have a good week. Get that energy out. And next week, we are going to be reading all about colors. So I'll see you then. Have a good week, Storytime friends.